Hi, everyone. Welcome to this Google Digital Garage training session on how to find your career goals. Before we get stuck in, this session is an interactive session where, we will be giving you the opportunity to participate in activities, get hands-on with the content. So it's a great one for actually, we'll be asking a lot of questions to you. So if you haven't already done so, please do get your hands on some pen and paper, pencil, paper, whatever you prefer, or something which is digital so you can actually take note of these different things as we continue. Great opportunity. Okay. Just to introduce you the different things, my name is Benedict. I'm a trainer for Google's free skills training program, Google Digital Garage. Just a bit about myself. I'm an experienced coding specialist and digital skills trainer, as well as having a background in the digital creative industry and worked in the sector for over 20 years. I would also like to introduce our amazing moderator, Na. Na is also a Google Digital Garage coach and will be interacting with you and answering just about all of your questions via the instant chat just to the right there. Now you can identify the moderator by her name, as well as a little blue spanner next to her name. Now, just before we start, I just want to call out a few things to help you today. Firstly, if you are having any trouble viewing the webinar at any point along the way, do try refreshing your page, please. That's great help. If you would like to join the instant chat, and it's a great opportunity, so don't miss out on it. So please do. You need to be actually signed up and everything, and then you'll see it on the right-hand side. There'll be a box on the right as well for signing up. Now, we will be pausing throughout the session, so long as Na kindly passes me some of the questions, I'll be answering some of the questions in those particular moments, during the breaks. So please do feel free to fire away with your questions throughout. And just to let you know, we are running this Google Digital Garage virtual training as part of a broader offering of courses, which a lot of these have been updated, which is quite exciting. So if you would like to check out our schedule of upcoming webinar training, please see information on this in the description below, which links you through to our website. Okay, so that's the housekeeping done. Let us now get started on finding your career goals. And let me just ask you please to introduce yourselves online, because it's a great opportunity. Some people have started already, which is fabulous. Please do tell us your name and where you're signing on from. It'd be fabulous. We've got welcome Tech with KK from India. Welcome here. Great to have you here. Let me see now if I can pronounce your name correctly here. Is it Uyanwune Adobe? Sorry, I'm very bad at the pronunciation. Welcome here as well. Crystal, Amsterdam. Welcome. I was about to try and read your email there, but Crystal, welcome from Amsterdam. It's great to have you here. So anyone else, please do put it in there. I will see. Oh, welcome Uyanwune from UK. So that's great. And Raj from Sri Lanka, that's great. Nicola from the Czech Republic, welcome. It's so lovely to have people from different parts of the world. And Ariana from London, excellent. Let's see if there are any more. It's quite exciting, all these names coming up. And then Agata from Poland, excellent. I've got a good friend who makes films, actually, who's from Poland as well. Joy from India, welcome. Okay, I'll try to carry on with the different things now, but I'll keep my eye on that if there's anyone else who signs on from different parts of the world, which is really great. Okay. What I quite like about this kind of talk, you've probably seen some of the previous talks, which are very different in some ways. Welcome, Naja from India. This is slightly more different because we're asking a lot more questions and putting them across to you, which is quite, you know what I mean? You're kind of more in the driving seat with this, which is quite nice. So let's just see now. So with these first three questions, I'm actually going to put a lot across to you, all of you, with these particular questions. Your purpose. Why are you particularly here? What are you wanting to get out of this session? Think about that. Maybe write it down. Take a note of it. Approach. What will this session be like? A little element of the mystery to find out what it's going to be like. Because don't forget, this is to help you find your career goals. This is the thing. And it's going to work much more from yourself, not just all of the public and what jobs you can find and all that kind of thing, which of course eventually you have to check. But it starts more with yourself. You'll see this gradually as we continue. Payoff, what will I walk away with at the end? So it's nothing better than to start with a question. Those kind of things, mull them out, sort of maybe write down some different ideas. but it's one way of starting. So one thing I've got to tell you about, which is really exciting, and now we'll give you the link, which is fabulous. Thank you, Now. There are free career certificates which are available from Google. I'm afraid at the moment it's only within the UK. My apologies to those who are. I welcome it. It's just so fabulous to have you from different parts of the world. But at present, this I'm afraid is career certificate in the UK. So particularly if you're looking to improve your job-ready skill set, particularly. The big thing here is that this has been set up with very big companies, working out where there's a particular gap in the market, working out these different things. And it's actually come up with particular careers where there's a particular need. So it's training on one of these, whichever kind of suits your fancy, what you feel would be best for you, what you would enjoy the most. So there's various different sides which are actually provided there. There are some which are UX design, which are designing, for example, different pieces of software, but from the viewers, the user's point of view. There's data analytics, project management, IT support. When you have some problems with a piece of software, you would go on to IT support. You'd be one of those so trained in these different areas. You might be wanting to know how long will these different courses. Thank you very much, Now. You might be wanting to know how long will these courses be. I mean, it's a bit like how long is a piece of string? It's all largely according to how much time you're able to spend on it. It could be 6 months, could be more, could be less. It all depends on how you phase with the different, how you fare with the different things. But it's particularly trying to get you ready for the world of work, really, to get you ready for jobs, particularly. Okay, which is quite exciting. My apologies, at the moment it's only within the UK, but it's an opportunity. Okay, let's move on. So next thing, I want you now to think back to when you were most fulfilled by a job, the most fulfilling the jobs. What were you doing? What is happening around you, and how much of your fulfillment? So these particular things, what is happening around you? Now, don't forget, it could be a job, it could be volunteering activity, or could be a task. It doesn't have to be, a job. But think about that carefully. And if you could share that with us, that would be fabulous. So it's particularly your personal fulfillment, when you've really felt fulfilled by it. If you can share that with us, that'd be fabulous. I'm all ready to see your different things that you'll be sharing. And whilst I'm waiting for some of you to give some feedback on that, which will be quite interesting, one of the things I do is I am a composer for films, for example, and I recently finished, it was a horror movie, actually, which sounds quite scary, but of course, obviously, I'm composing for it, and I was working with the directors, and the last couple of days, day and a half, I think we were working on it, just finalizing it, getting it right down to exactly what they wanted, taking parts out, putting stuff in, and all the rest. And I suppose in many ways that was, for me, the most fulfilling, because I've always been a musician, I've been a composer for a long time, and to me, that was very fulfilling. And quite frankly, as whilst I'm sitting here and talking to all of you, that's another area. I mean, I must admit, I'm choosing more than one here, but an area I love too as well is, of course, giving talks and helping people. And I've been a teacher and trainer for many years. So that's another area I do love and get a lot of fulfillment from. Okay, great. Tech with KK, being a team leader at school. Excellent. So it's particularly that kind of side. Thank you very much. That's fabulous. Great stuff. So keep coming out with the different ones. It'd be great to see. A lot of you have introduced yourselves. Come on, there must be, think about those times when it would be fulfilling. Absolutely, that's great. So Tech with, is it Tech? What's your first name? Tech with KK. So being a leader is mostly fulfilling for you, particularly for you. And that's the most important thing, is what it is for you. Hi there, Indian Cinema. Welcome. Great to have you here. From India. Excellent. That's great. Absolutely. So particular areas fulfilling. Was it for you, Indian Cinema? Was it particularly making of films as well? I don't know. But do share your particular sides, which you found it's a personal thing. It's a very, what you found the most fulfilling. Now we're going to be looking at the different things. We're kind of starting from when you felt the most fulfilled. It's got to be right for you, of course, at the end of the day. I mean, I know we've got to bring in a certain salary, we've got to pay certain bills, certain things, and all the rest. I understand that. And of course, a practical area, one needs those different things. Oh, thank you very much, Indian Cinema. That's very kind of. But the big thing is you've got to work out what really works for you. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, it's got to be something you really get something out of, ideally, your work. And of course, it's not always starting, you know what I mean? At the beginning, the different sides. But the point is, it's a great opportunity to think of these things. Aha, now. Excellent. So, Agata, I haven't had a job yet. However, once you're part of a Scouts, okay, great. Group organizing all sorts of trips and camps. Oh, that's great. And that really made you feel fulfilled. That's great. Thank you, Agata. The great thing is as well, before you've had a job, the whole point is think of those times as well. Excellent. Is it Jose? Is that right? Solving math and teaching a computer science subject to a friend. Excellent. I used to, at one point, I was lecturing in coding for game design, actually, Jose, and I quite enjoyed that as well. And then tech, so being a leader person who has the authority that makes me fulfilled, absolutely. And I suppose as being a leader of that group, almost being responsible for that group, looking after them as well. And then Nikki, having a positive impact on people or the world around me and doing something creative. Excellent. That's great. It's very important that you work out. I mean, I did teach in a school in Southeast London for some time in a secondary school. Can't say it was my favorite because I think it was not the kids, it was not the subject, it was just the institute. It's not that keen on. But I did compose during the night. I used to work from midnight till 2. And I had that creative outlet. And it's very important that everyone has some form of creative outlet, I think, definitely. Thank you so much for your contributions there. It's been absolutely fabulous. So the important thing here, 3 out of 10 workers in the United Kingdom do not believe they have good prospects for career development. Now, when we actually consider that 1/3 of our lives are spent at work, can we afford to fall into this particular statistic, It's excellent, Naja, being a good listener. That's very, very important. Absolutely. And, soft skills is something that was often not fully realized, how important it is. Anyway, sorry, going back onto this. So it's very important that you work out that your job is going in the right direction for you. Now, we're going to start off with a Venn diagram. And this is something which has been worked on for a long time, the different things here. So this is a Venn diagram. Now, this is going to be working out the method, used to evaluate really fulfilling jobs. So there are 3 key elements to a job that you find fulfilling. First, it's something that you enjoy, something that you find pleasure in. So we're going to start with that side. I know, of course, when you're looking for a job, you're looking for the job, how much will it pay, where will it be, all these different things. I understand completely. But start now with yourself. Maybe some of you have been working already, and maybe you need to change or use your skills somewhere else which you enjoy. So start off first with something, write down in that part of the Venn diagram, that circle, something that you enjoy doing. Write them down. Now, obviously, I've seen already from Tech, Nikki, Jose, Indian Cinema and everything. So there's so many different things you can actually use here, which you'll be able to benefit from. So, write down something that you really enjoy doing. Write in that circle for yourselves, okay? We're going to start with that, okay? Make sure that it's something that you're enjoying and that you're actually getting something out of it, So that's what we're going to start off with, just to make sure, you've got all those different sides that you can use, starting with yourself. Because often you might take a job and you think you're going to really enjoy it, and then you discover you're not enjoying it as much. And then, of course, obviously, you need to work with the different things and work out what you do enjoy and what you don't enjoy. And then, of course, it's tailoring around to what you like. We can't always choose that, You know what I mean? We aren't always in the situation where we can choose that. But I do think, even if you can't choose it yet, that you keep it in mind. And even if it's not your job, maybe it's a hobby or something that you can do at least. Anyway, then, of course, second, are you any good at it? Does it actually naturally play to your strengths? Now, I just want to define for you a little bit about strengths and skills. Skills are, for example, if you've got a certificate, you've got a degree, that is kind of well known as a skill because you've trained in it, you've got accreditation for it, you can show people in it, this is a skill that I've got. A strength is often something that we're not aware of, because a strength is something that you're very good at. But often people who let's say they've got a really good strength of organizing people, or like we had before there was Tech, who being a leader, and possibly they're not even aware of it because it's just second nature. They don't even think about it. So they think, oh, I'm not going to be paid for that. Anyone can do that. But of course, often it's finding out that actually not anyone can do that, that actually you've got a talent in that. And that's why it's second nature. So, of course, strength is something you need to largely ask your friends and colleagues. I know we will be covering this later, but it's important that you're aware of it, that you ask your friends and colleagues to find out what those particular areas are. So something you're good at, does it naturally play to your strengths? In other words, use your talents and your strength. And then third, is it something that people value? Now, of course, we're moving on to this final part where is there a market for it? And someone somewhere will be happy to pay you to do it, of course. So really, it's kind of going in the reverse way to the typical thing. When you're looking for a job, okay, what kind of jobs are they? Immediately looking according to what people valuing or people jobs which are being offered and everything. That's from the job side first. And at some stages, of course, you need to do that. But it's very helpful if you start off with something you enjoy doing and working from your own standpoint, and then work eventually around to, okay, who will pay me for that? Okay, so the big thing here, we've got different areas. If you look in the middle of the blue circle there, top right, we've got here, things you enjoy doing. So we've got here in the center, it's just fun. And then in the middle of the green one, it's practice chores. Okay, I can do this. It's everyone. I'm good at it, therefore I do it. I do it for the family, whatever it might be. And then possibly, not always, but something people value, maybe not for you, we don't know. But combining these two different ones. So if you look at the blue, the section between the just fun and practice chores, you've got a skilled hobby. Between the practice chores and not for you is maybe a boring job. And then you've got the low skill job, but you're kind of looking for that sweet center right in the middle. That's what you're trying to go for. So it's something which is fun, something that you're skilled at, something you're going to be paid for. All of those three different areas. Okay. Yes, Tech is the strength. A strength is, yes, something people value. In this context, we're looking at something where people will pay for it. So something people value, in other words, value sufficiently to pay for it, that's where something people value is. In other words, jobs, where jobs would be existent. I hope that helps, Tech, just in the definition. So you've got all these different areas, but of course, obviously, we're going for that sweet spot where it's something you enjoy doing, something you're good at, and something that people value. All right. So we're going to investigate the three areas in turn to put you on the path to finding the career that allows you to find fulfillment. So there are lots of other ways to look at career fulfillment, but this particular theory has been inspired by what's called the Ikigai method. It was a method which is a lot of research into it. Now, if you can give them the link there for them to help them. There's TechTarget there, one particular that link, this for the Ikigai. Thank you very much. No. So you can, if you want to read a little bit further on it, we've got the information there for you. Okay. So obviously, of course, we have to earn money to, of course, to survive. I completely understand that. But once we earn past the base level, we need to, of course, buy the basics. Okay, so you've got food, water, shelter. What motivates us to improve our performance and strive to do good work? So what is the top motivator at work? What is the top motivator? So, if you share with us what is the top motivator for you for your work, that would be fabulous. So tell me, what is the top motivator at work? If you can share with us and put the answer to that question, that would be fabulous. For you, what is the top motivator at work? Thank you. Thank you, Noah. So what do you feel the thing which is most important, that really drives you to really put in some time and really do a good... Excellent. Thank you, Gautam, to help others. I know exactly what you're feeling about that, particularly because, well, I mean, as a teacher, trainer, lecturer and everything, a big thing is, of course, helping others. And I think for a lot of people love that. So, Tech, my top motivation at work is my team supporting. Oh, excellent. That's really good, Tech. That's really good for the team, that you're really supporting them in that way. You're leading them, I gather, from your previous notes, and then also your contribution, rather. And then also, yeah, absolutely, your team supporting you, which is so important. You've got to work them together. Sorry, I'm just working on your name there, Connie Nens. I'm not quite sure how to pronounce your name there. Learning and development. Excellent, great stuff. Jose, seeing that my skills are improving. Yes, it's great, isn't it, to see those different things whilst you're working on these things. And yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Jose. Nicola, it has to have value for me. Absolutely. I completely understand. Agata, firstly, salary, absolutely, because of course it's necessity. Of course, I understand that. And then the things that others have said, it's so important for us. What people's, the feedback we get. And Gautam, to come across the daily challenges. I quite like that. Some people would call it obstacles, but you don't have to see it that way. It's kind of more like challenges. Absolutely. So, and there we've got recognition of work, largely what, and then the things what that others have said, which Agatha was communicating as well there. Absolutely, Gautam, because there's so many people who are struggling with technology. I quite agree. So great. Thank you so much for your contributions. It's fabulous. It's so nice when all of you are interacting and checking out the different things and giving your responses and asking questions and everything. So that now brings me across to the questions. Well, wonderful. Thank you so much for those contributions. Okay, excellent. Are there any questions now? Let me just see now, because it's really great that, I mean, I don't have been a chance for questions yet, because of course we've covered a lot of the different things and very interactive, as I was saying. So no questions, I don't think, at the moment. But okay, I'm going to move on to now the next section. All right, so let's move on now. So something you enjoy doing. All right, okay, we've covered it so basically. So okay, then let's look a bit closer at that first circle. Something you enjoy. I know some of you started already. We've got quite a lot of time with these slides, so I'm spending a little bit of time on it. I've got to watch the clock there as well. But of course, make sure you've got something that you've written something down there. So your exercise is particularly filling in this one here. So pick out the words or phrases that describe, okay, yes. Now with this one, sorry, Tech, with you were asking there, what is meant by recognition of work? It's recognition of work is, let's say, it's particularly nice if you're working in the industry and there are sort of high achievers in particular areas, or even part of your team as well, and they recognize your work. It's nice. I mean, it could be coming from anyone. It could be from your partner, it could be from your family, it could be from the people you work with, it could be people high up in that particular trade. There's many different areas that it could come from. So whilst you're asking tech your recognition of your work, it could, I mean, of course, it is quite an open thing. And of course, that's according to who you value their opinion about the recognition of your work, of your quality of your work. I hope that helps you a little bit, Tech. I know it's a little bit sort of open-ended, but that's the whole point. It is open-ended according to, who's important to you. So going back onto this, pick out the words or phrases that describe things you enjoy. Okay, now there's going to be a list of phrases, which I'm going to give you. Pick out the words or phrases that you really enjoy. All right. Now, this is a list of the different things that people tend to enjoy from work. Now, we haven't just plucked these out of the air, let me assure you. These are based on the work of Professor Edgar Schein, Schein, I think it is pronounced, who has been working on this since the 1970s, so for a long time. So they're pretty well tested. Now, let's go through these phrases. Think about what you really enjoy at work. So take out your pen and paper, refer to these different things. I'll just read through them quickly. So secure and stable work, having ideas, helping people, working independently, work-life balance, being an expert, organizing people, solving problems. So look through those ones, decide, which ones, really apply to you. So maybe write them all down and maybe tick them off, maybe something like that. And it's very, very important to be honest, of course. Don't pretend you enjoy something because you think you should. Of course, the big thing is obviously, you know what I mean? It's what works for you. For me, for you. Okay. Then I want you to rank them. What are your top 3? So once you've chosen those different ones, which refer to you, I want you to rank them. What are your top 3? Once you've done that, I want you to share it with us, please. Okay. Just so you know what I mean? This is quite nice because then you're taking part. Just going back to these. Let me see now. For me, sometimes mine do change sometimes over time, but let me see now. For me, probably, let me see now. Creativity is very important to me. So I suppose having ideas is quite high up for me. I do love this kind of conflict of cutting it down to 3 is hard because I do like helping other people particularly as well. So maybe the first and the second. I do like to work independently. Yes. I just like solving problems, but it's hard to cut it down to the top 3, I must say. But if you could share, okay, put your top 3. Can you put your top 3? Because it's fabulous. Some of you sharing me some of the different. Okay, so is that tech? Is that your top 3? Organizing the work, helping others, organizing people. Is it? So write down your top 3. Oh, okay, excellent. So Nicola, we've got here having ideas, helping others, working independently. Nice. Thank you, Nicola. Joy, solving problems, being an expert, and helping others. Excellent. Nice one. Can I call you Konij? It's about the closest I can get to the first part of your name. Helping others, organizing people, work-life balance. That's very, very important. Jose, being an expert, solving problems, helping others. Great stuff. Gautam, helping others. Excellent. That's your top one, which is very important to you. And it's so important nowadays, particularly. Helping. Gosh, you've given it twice. Wow, Gautam. Helping others, and solving problems. Excellent. That's really great. Thank you so much, people. That's great. It's just nice to see those different things and rating them as well. It helps you. Okay, let's now look at the next step along this process. So now I want you to pick out the phrases that describe what you do now or have done previously. Now, let me just point out, if you don't have a job yet, then that's fine. Just think about what you do now. In other words, maybe at university, at home, at your school, or whatever it might be. It doesn't matter what kind of context it is, but where you spend most of your time. Because, of course, at the end of the day, often a job is where you spend a lot of your living life. So, so what you do now or have done previously. So, but particularly to do with, your top 3. Okay, so there we go. So your job at present, or what you've been doing so far, particularly in your spare time, whatever it might be, put your top 3. So going back to the full list and selecting what you actually do, really, because I know you've put down what you like the person most important to you. Now we've got to put down what you're actually doing now, or your most recent job. Could be at school. Yeah, absolutely. Depends. I mean, obviously, if you're working, you've got a job, then obviously use that job. If you used to have a job, then, but you're not employed at the moment, well, look at that previous job and fill that in, just to, hope that helps. Solving problems at your classrooms. Okay, great. Tammy, teacher. Don't forget, we're using those 3. Sorry, I don't want to restrict you so much, but it's kind of using those for now because, of course, all the research was being used. Excellent, Nicola. So we've got having ideas, working independently. Now, don't forget, that's only 2. What's the third one, Nicola? So Ariana, secure and stable work, helping others, organizing people. Excellent. Ariana, let me see now. And your preferences, let's see now, helping others, which you've got in the top 3 as well. Solving problems, secure and stable. Okay, so it's not too different, but you like, at the moment, you're organizing people, but you prefer solving problems. No, solving problems is already there. But just have a look at the different things. Sorry, I'm going up and down on the screens to work out the different things. Conage, working independently, solving problems, organizing people. Okay, so that's your present job. Conage, yours was helping others. Yeah, you see, there's no helping others in your present job. So maybe if you could look in that direction a little bit more, organizing people, work balance, organizing people and work balance. Maybe you're looking particularly more for the work balance and the solving. Interesting. So, Galvin, let me see now. My present work. Oh, there's many different sides I do cover. I have to come up with a lot of ideas, of course, as composer. I do work independently, so those are working quite well together. And what's my third? I think I had struggled a little bit with my third. I think it was a little bit of solving problems versus work-life balance, which to a certain extent, yeah. I mean, I'm covering them all. Got them, thanks. So let me see now. I got solving problems, helping others, having ideas. That's great. Have I had you before? Answering your question. Yes, I got for me, working independently, secure, lastly, helping others. And I got helping others, having so more creative maybe there, Agata, solving problems. Not quite sure. I'm sorry, I'm flipping between 2 screens. A little bit hard for me to see. Nicola, I've got it still on screen. Having ideas that they're together, working independently, organizing people. That's great. Were those what you're working now? Is that right, Nicola? And then having ideas, solving problems, work balance. Absolutely. That's great. You'll see. This is great. Thank you so much for contributing. This is it's just really interesting to see where you are now and where possibly particular directions. Obviously, these are quite sort of generalized, I know, but obviously they've done a lot of research into it. These are important elements in any kind of work. All right, so now you've picked out the phrases. Now think about the differences. Now, obviously, I've started all of you off on that. I've been trying to compare with the screen I have there, one of my 4 screens here. So think about the differences between current list and your ideal list, because the big thing now is you've got to work out, what are the differences between these different ones? Yeah, that makes sense. I've got to keep an eye on the light as well as going. I've got a skylight up there, so it's getting a little bit dark as time goes by. But think about the differences. What particular areas, if you were going to extend your work, if you were going to take your work and take it a little bit further, maybe, what kind of areas would you want to take it further? Or if you did look for another kind of work, what kind of work would it be? What do you feel you're missing particularly? Okay, wonderful. So let me just see now. Sorry, just 2 seconds. And of course, the big thing is everyone is different. I mean, obviously, I'm using these, I'm giving you feedback whilst we're working the different things. But obviously, this is very personal. Thank you so much for sharing it. Obviously, and I've tried to share a little of mine. But the point is, at the end of the day, you will know best, of course. So it's very important that for you to think honestly and actively about what you really enjoy at work. The more you do, the more you can deliberately seek those things out and prioritize them, over other activities. Now, if there are wide differences between the two lists, it's a great way to start focusing on the sort of job that you might be happier in. Now, I think on BBC, on YouTube, there are some videos which are actually a day in the life of particular kinds of work, and that can be quite useful. Oh, great. So, Tech, you're going to study law. So that's absolutely solving problem, work-life balance, and being an expert. Yeah, you will definitely be an expert in your particular area. Absolutely. And I suppose you weren't you the one with a leader as well? So I suppose you will be, of course, leader in different ways in particular areas. Okay, great. So that's kind of get you thinking about the different sides. And that's what I particularly like about this particular talk, because, it really puts, you could say, the ball into your side of the court. Okay, great. Great. All right. So any further questions? Let me just see now if there's any further questions in this particular section. Yes, I can see everything. Of course, obviously, I've been monitoring very clearly what you've been putting through. So no, I don't think there's any further questions at present. All right. I think there are probably more questions maybe towards the end. Okay, I think I got one already. Agata, you often work in groups. You often work in groups, but you'd like to work independently in the future. I find then I'm performing better. Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. That's great. Agata, obviously, I don't know your particular trade, what kind of work it is. If you're working in groups, I mean, obviously, if you can become an expert in it, I mean, you might be already, I don't know. But one of the ways you can do that is if you're working freelance, then, you can be working independently, that element of independence. One way, Agata, you could do that could be, for example, you've got your regular job. You don't disturb your regular job. That's fine. But you maybe do some things. If you have some days off, you could put some. Oh, you're referring to school. Absolutely. Okay, great. So you could possibly go in towards tutoring. I don't know what subjects, of course, obviously you cover. I don't even go into that in much detail, but obviously if you can show what particular subject. I mean, I used to teach music, and of course I could go on into tutoring piano or cello. Those are my main instruments. I play piano, cello, percussion. Not all at the same time, I assure you. But you know what I mean? There's different areas that you can specialize in, of course, with composing, there's harmony. So if you can think of the different areas you could be doing, yeah, absolutely. So that's a possibility, Agata. Just obviously be careful with it to the extent that make sure you've got that. I mean, I'm sure you're very capable of that, working out that you've got enough money coming in, but so you can gradually balance it. One of the difficulties I know from the experience with schools is often they are very exhausting because, of course, you put a lot of work into it. And I know from experience, having been a teacher, as well as a lecturer, but they are quite distinct and different to the extent that with the children, you really are looking after their every move. And I mean, as a music teacher, I had to teach the whole school, which was quite a business. Whereas when you're lecturing, of course, it's much more in their hands. They are there, you lecture, they have to look after themselves, they do the essays. There's a more and more distance as time goes by, college, university, you know what I mean? There's they have to look more after themselves. So there's an area of tutoring, Agata. There's possibilities of teaching a more senior class, like sort of colleges, or possibly, lecturing at universities, different areas. But I hope that's got you started, Agata. The important thing is you keep working on it. I mean, when I was teaching music, as I said, I used to compose from midnight till 2. That was my form of creativity. So you've got to have some outlet for it, and have spent some time on it. Anyway, okay, let's have a look at the next section, because gosh, all the questions are coming up. This is great. So let me just quickly look at this, because I know we're doing all right, but I better move it a bit soon. So you've been working as a hotel receptionist for 6 years now, but you'd like to work more independently while traveling. Aha, no idea what I could do. Okay, so as you're a hotel receptionist, you're attached to that hotel. You're only working within the restrictions of that hotel. So to a certain extent, you need to work out where you can use those skills or those strengths that you have. It's a little bit more difficult to the extent that if it's strength which you can't sort of demonstrate, but if there's skills that often skills are easier to show, but it's working out where you can apply the different things that you're good at, your strengths, your skills, your previous work, that kind of thing. I hope that helps you a little bit. I need to move fast with a lot of questions, which is fabulous. Tech, you love your school, and the syllabus of the board is good and one of the top most. Excellent. That's really good. Good. That's really nice. I mean, it's already, in many ways, I do feel teaching as well quite a noble sort of thing, because you really put in so much time for those people. So, Joy, I want to start my career in data analytics, and I have recently graduated as a mechanical engineer. Can you tell me how do I start? Joy, if you are in the UK, are you in the UK? If you are in the UK, you could do the Google Career Certificate, which is for particular data analytics. So that would be a great way to start. One of the advantages you'll have, though, Joy, is engineering has a particular sort of mindset, and a lot of people recognize that. Analytics, it's a little bit more sort of technical, and you're taking figures and you're using those different sides, but people do often respect an engineering sort of mindset as well. So I would have said, if you can maybe see how you can use your previous training and what you've done, where it could be applied to the data analytics. Okay, hope that helps you a little bit. Tammy, your group lead primary teacher, excellent, and wanted a career change. What do you recommend with your skill sets that will benefit an industry? So yours, I want to work from home ideally. There's different things. You can, of course, train online, different things, Tammy. It depends, of course, your subjects that you taught, areas that you covered. Certainly, the Google Career Certificate, you can do a lot where you can be working independently. So if you are in the UK, obviously do check them out, the different things that you could be doing. What is essential for becoming a lawyer? Recommend me some course. What is essential for becoming a lawyer? Okay, sorry, Tech, I don't have a chance. Maybe now we'll be able to help you a little bit further on that one. That's a quite specific one. Don't forget, if you are in the UK, we do have one-to-one mentoring as well to help you with that. Okay. Tell me, okay, so you're in London, so that's great. So Google Career Certificate. Yes, I work for Google Digital Garage. I don't work directly for Google. I mean, I work for Google Digital Garage, which is a branch where we assist and help people. When I first thought, anyway, I loved it because I used to teach. I used to lecture. Of course, I lectured in coding, and I was consultant for coding for game design, and I provided the feedback for the coding course, actually. So it was a great start, and also part of the interview board. So it was a nice way to start, and there was a particular side which I liked. But I love the fact that we were providing this training for free for people. We recently celebrated in London. We've trained a million companies in London now, which is great. So there's many different areas. Sorry, I'm going to have to move a little bit faster on because I'm looking at the time. We only got a quarter of an hour, and we're only halfway through the slides. So next we're going to explore what you're really good at. Okay, so we're going to look at these different things. So we've started already with that first one, what you enjoy doing. Let's have a look at this now. All right. Your own individual perceptions of your strengths are often not reflected in your actual abilities. Now, you might think that as we get better at something, our feelings about how well we do it increase at the same rate. I don't know if you've ever seen the Dunning-Kruger effect. It actually describes how humans are notoriously bad at knowing their own strengths and weaknesses. Now, this is what I mentioned. Speak to your friends. If they turn to you for anything, what do they turn to you about? So Dunning-Kruger looked at how our perceptions of abilities changes as we gain more experience. So step one is when we are just starting out with something completely new. At this point, we are no good and we know it. But you can see how our confidence increases. You know, imagine now that you've learned a little more about something. All of a sudden, we think we're fantastic because we can do one chord change on the guitar. Even with me, the guitar, I remember strumming into the baby who was, one of my children who was just a baby at the time. Felt so great. And of course, later I thought, oh my God, that's not good playing because, of course, you're developing a particular skill in a particular area. So in reality, maybe we don't know this particular thing. Maybe it's a sum in a spreadsheet, whatever. We don't know enough yet to know how much more there is to learn. So the Dunning-Kruger effect explains that people who are in the low percentile of ability, in other words, are not very good, tend to overestimate their abilities. You see that gentleman there crooning to the microphone thinking, I'm just the best singer. Then this works in the opposite way too. Now, often if you are actually quite good at something, you're likely to underestimate your abilities, especially after that first high as a kind of low there. We're not talking about false modesty here. People who are pretty good at something tend to think it's no big deal or that they aren't all that good. Now, maybe this is because you now know just how good other people can be and how far there is for you to go. And then the final stage is that once you've actually attained an expert level or skill, you are much more likely to correctly evaluate your abilities. So what all this means is that to truly understand your strengths, we have to look outside ourselves. Okay. So this is an exercise. So now we know why it can be so difficult to recognize our own abilities. Let's look at a practical exercise we can do to identify our strengths. This is what I want you to do. Pick 3 people who know you really well, a friend, a neighbor, someone at work. You can use a family member, but if they love you too much to see your faults, or, just think you're brilliant at everything, that won't be very helpful. Or some family dear members are very critical of their own family. So it depends. Sometimes it can give you an idea, but often it's some, you can use a family member as well if they're going to give helpful information. So I want you to imagine you are speaking to one of your trusted friends who knows you really well. If you were to ask them what they thought about you, what would they say? For instance, if you asked a friend, let's call them John or whatever it might be, I hope he would say that he would always ask Benedict for help when he's particularly solving a problem, whatever it might be. So answer the question on this slide from their perspective. Remember, your name goes where the X's are, and you imagine what you would say. So I always ask, then that's your name, for help with. That, your name knows a lot about. You can always ask your name too. So it gives you a sort of idea, the kind of feedback, what would they say about you? Okay. I'm going to go forward one slide to give you some ideas of the sorts of things I mean. Okay. So there's the different areas we've covered. I'm going to read every single one of these because some of these are really, really small. So to help you, I'm going to do it sort of roughly column by column. So here goes. sharing knowledge, investigating, making things, taking risks, motivating others, starting something new. Next column, completing things, staying focused, having deep conversations, meeting new people, using numbers, working in teams. Next column, which I'll have to cover everything else here now, being physically active, socializing, having new ideas, operating machines, very small, competing, being creative, coaching, putting structures in place, using your hands, using data. Sorry, I pronounce it data. I know most people say data. Planning, problem solving, working teams, writing. Okay, so don't forget, once I've finished, up to 24 hours after I've finished, you can watch this. Same Earl, you'll be able to watch it. Okay? So even better, of course, obviously jot down some of the questions. You could take a quick picture of this and, of course, obviously examine a little bit closer some of the different areas to help you. I'll give you a chance to do that now. Okay, of course, obviously you can't download this or anything. Of course, this is all copyright material, but you can take a screenshot and then use that. Okay. Or you can go back to the watch the talk again. So pausing for questions. Any questions on this particular section? I don't know if there's much time either, actually, so I better move on. Okay. Something people value. Now, the final element is finding something that people value, that there is a market for, that someone somewhere will be happy to pay for. Now, we're going to cover a couple of 3 different stories about people who have actually found their particular goal, their business, by looking creatively for what they enjoy and are actually good, could be valued. Now, these are particular case studies that we have here. Now, first one is Abigail's story. You can see their digital garage. It's where we were talking to some of these people. So Abby worked in technology at a large entertainment business, but changed her career to focus on baking cakes. Now, Abby's pantry started in London, has now moved to Edinburgh. So it's become very, it's a classic one of knowing you enjoy something, in this case, baking cakes, finding that you're really good at it, getting great feedback from the colleagues at work she baked for, and then turning this from a skilled hobby or passion project into something to make a living out of. Now, Abigail has just started digital training with Google at the time, this is a bit of time ago, to help find new customers and make her business more visible. Then we've got Claire and Rachel's story. So Claire and Rachel are friends who joined forces, set up the website How Do I Do, a directory of wedding suppliers and wedding planners for all couples. Now, Claire was a barrister and Rachel was a sonographer, someone who does diagnostic imaging like ultrasound scans, very different areas. After going on a starting your own business course, this is one of the courses we used to have when we had stores, they set up How Do I Do, a directory to help people of all sexual orientations find wedding suppliers and wedding planners. They both attended the Digital Garage one-to-one session, as well as writing for social media and intro to digital marketing alongside the Start Your Own Business course. So they managed to use all these different things and what they're really passionate about. Shaquille's story took what he was good at, human resources, and enjoyed working independently by becoming a human resource consultant through starting Catch Up Over Coffee on LinkedIn. He's grown 1,500 connections to help him find clients, and he was made redundant before by his employer. Was a major turning point in his career rather than a setback, because it gave him the opportunity to take what he was good at, working in HR, and dial up what he really enjoyed, working independently and directly with influential people using the hashtag Catch Up Over Coffee. So okay, so he's done really well with that one as well. So these are just some different areas. So who would value what I'm good at and enjoy? So which job or profession requires what you've got? Now, don't forget, you will have done the first 2 parts of the Venn diagram: what you enjoy, what you're good at, going through all those different points, getting feedback from those 3 people. So it's a great way to really consider what you might make a living out of, something you're good at and enjoy. So which job or profession requires what you've got? Which business could use your skills? And which groups of people might be able to pay you, to actually make or do it? So right now, write in your workbook at least one place that you could be valued. Come up with a much longer list after the session, perhaps with the help of some people, around you, close to you. Encourage, obviously them to be expansive. You need to really start with a long list of ideas for what you could do, not a single decision of what you should do, really. So then there are different things you can be using, of course. We've got LinkedIn. When you're registered with LinkedIn, of course, often that's a way of being introduced to different jobs as well. We've got Do It, we've got charity jobs. There's Indeed, for example, in the UK. There's many different ones that you can do. Charity jobs, I mentioned already, Do It. Yes, so there's many different areas you can be using. I mean, Do It is particularly with the great platform really for volunteer opportunities. Sometimes if you start as a volunteer, you can use that experience, and obviously you're finding out about it, you're not being paid for it, you don't feel as responsible, but at the same time, you're testing it out. So setting steps to reach your goal. So I want you to, with all of this, today I'm going to, it's an exercise to put a structure into what you can. Always structure is very helpful. So if you write down for yourself, today I'm going to do this. You can take a picture of this. Obviously, next week I'm going to. This month I will have. This year I will have. I don't know if you've ever heard of SMART goals: specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, timely. Sorry, I'm speaking quite fast, but it's you set a particular goal in a time limit. By then I will have. So it's using those elements to set yourself those goals so you can, and, set all of this up and get your friends to prompt you about, have you done this? Because you said you were going to, it helps. It really does help you get going and everything with these different sides. Okay. Pause. We've got 4 minutes left. Any questions? Wonderful. I can see Nars being very interactive, giving lots of different links and everything. And the different areas and all the rest. Don't forget, Gautam, there's a lot of different online courses. I think she's already given them to you, hasn't she? So that, yeah, there we go, learn digital staging. There we go. So there's a lot of different things you can learn there online, which is helpful, and all of those are free. Any further questions? Let me just see now. Any further questions? I went a bit far down. Nope. No questions at the moment, it seems. So, all right. I shall. Good heavens. There's so many talks happening at the moment. I see I'm on the next page. Okay. Oh, right. Questions. There we go. Sorry, I'm down onto that one. Yes. So I got back to you, Joy, about your mechanical engineering. Tammy, wanting a career change. Yes, I hope that helps you a little bit. Okay. Oh, track your progress, which I can assume I'm going to achieve. One of the big things, Tech, partly with this penultimate slide we had, is you've got to decide what your success is for the different things. So, of course, you've got to set your own goals at the beginning. I mean, obviously, within your own particular kind of work, obviously, you will ask some of your colleagues and everything. If you're moving towards a particular kind of work, find out information about it. There'll be courses about it, people talking about the different areas, and many things to help you and assist you. I hope that helps you, Tech. I better look at the time there. You're also welcome with this. It's great to have all of you here. So what are your next steps? Of course, we've got sessions on build a CV and cover letter and building a personal brand, which will help you to hone those important career skills, making sure you're going over your CV and everything, making sure that all of that is up to date. There are free career certificates available from Google and Fred only in the UK at present. So free flexible online training, so the IT support, project management, data analytics, and UX design. So sign up there and everything. Thank you very much. Nash will be giving you the link there. Okay, we're doing all right for time. So everyone, I want to thank you for all your contributions, your questions. Everything is fabulous. It's really nice. I do love these talks where we can interact a lot, and I try to help you personally as much as possible. I see your names there and obviously assist you and try to help you. I mean, obviously, short time span and everything. If you are in the United Kingdom, don't forget we have one-to-one training. Now I'll give you the link for that one. Thank you very much, Now. And then there's also, of course, there's other talks we give and everything to help you and assist you the different sides. we're here to help. And of course, as I think I've noticed, particularly Galvin likes to do, we love helping people. So we're here to do that, particularly, and assist you and help you. I hope that has been a useful dive, particularly into, thinking about your career side and for yourself first, particularly. Now, as I mentioned at the beginning of the session, of course, there's more training, Google Digital Garage, webinars and everything. There are a few ways you can continue learning. We are running, of course, the webinars, different subjects. If you'd like to check out the schedule of webinars, please see information on this in the description below. There'll be different topics available to watch, and we will be updating the schedule regularly. And we are updating quite a few of the different talks, which is quite exciting too. Also, if you'd like to carry on learning online in your own time, check out the Google Digital Garage website for more online training courses, which are available to you 24/7. I want to thank you, everyone, for joining today. And thank you so much, Now. You've been absolutely fabulous. We look forward to welcoming you again to another Google Digital Garage training session soon. Thank you.